Human rights lawyer, Barrister Jefferson Uwaharen has condemned and berated the federal government of Nigeria under the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for arresting, detaining and remanding to Kuje prison, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, the lawyer to the detained Biafra Republic agitation leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, after Aloy Ejimakor was seen joining the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest in Abuja on Monday, according to the human rights lawyer, who have remarkable experience in fighting against police extrajudicial killing. One notable exception is that a lawyer enjoys less freedom than others to speak publicly about his or her own cases, but not when it involves solidarity marches and protests for his client. The conducts of lawyers and the limit of their professional duties is the kernel of the alarming accusation by the presidency yesterday against the lawyer of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu and his subsequent arrest by the police for his presence at a scene in Abuja, where protesters were marching peacefully demanding the release of Mr. Kanu. The statement from the presidency and the police action is obviously a culmination of undisguised hostility towards the lawyer for having the temerity to represent a person the government have since prosecuted and convicted in the court of public opinions. Ordinarily, a lawyer's bail application for alleged crime of illegal protest won't be refused. The refusal is concerning and turning a simple matter into a political case of vendetta and persecution. Bayo Onanuga, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, had on Monday tweeted while the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest was ongoing, that, "I spotted Aloy Ejimakor, one of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, among the small group of protesters mobilized in Abuja by Omoyele Sowore. I wonder what Mr. Ejimakor was thinking when he decided to join this shambolic protest. As a lawyer, he should be aware of the principle of sub judice, particularly in relation to the ongoing treason case before the court. The prosecution has concluded its case, and it is now incumbent upon Mr. Ejimakor and the other lawyers to mount a strong defense for Kanu, rather than focusing on preparing a strong case. Mr. Ejimakor has resorted to extra-legal tactics, joining a career anarchist, to influence the process. Meanwhile, few hours ago, the organizer of the protest and the founder of Sahara Reporters News Media, Omoyele Sowore, stated via his social media accounts that, "We have been informed that plans are allegedly in place at Kuje prison to harm Nnamdi Kanu's younger brother, Fineboy, and Aloy Ejimakor, his special counsel, inside Kuje prison by special orders assigned by the Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu." Bayo Onanuga in the tweet demanded a snaction against Barrister Aloy Ejimakor for joining the protest, calling for the release of his client, Nnamdi Kanu. Accordingly, Bayo Onanuga said, "I spotted Aloy Ejimakor, one of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, among the small group of protesters mobilized in Abuja by Omoyele Sowore. I wonder what Mr. Ejimakor was thinking when he decided to join this shambolic protest. As a lawyer, he should be aware of the principle of sub judice, particularly in relation to the ongoing treason case before the court. The prosecution has concluded its case, and it is now incumbent upon Mr. Ejimakor and the other lawyers to mount a strong defense for Kanu. Rather than focusing on preparing a strong case, Mr. Ejimakor has resorted to extra-legal tactics, joining a career anarchist, to influence the process. Ejimakor's action questions his adherence to professional ethics. Legal authorities should consider appropriate sanctions for the unethical conduct of the bearded lawyer." Reacting, Barrister Jefferson Uwaharen, in a statement signed and made available on Tuesday, said, "Lawyers generally enjoy constitutional protection for two kinds of speech. Like everyone else, though with at least two important exceptions, lawyers can criticize government, including the courts and judges, and speak about public issues, subject to such narrow limitations professional rules of practice will permit. One notable exception is that a lawyer enjoys less freedom than others to speak publicly about his or her own cases, but not when it involves solidarity marches and protests for his client. The conducts of lawyers and the limit of their professional duties is the kernel of the alarming accusation by the presidency yesterday against the lawyer of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu and his subsequent arrest by the police for his presence at a scene in Abuja, where protesters were marching peacefully demanding the release of Mr. Kanu. The statement from the presidency and the police action is obviously a culmination of undisguised hostility towards the lawyer for having the temerity to represent a person the government have since prosecuted and convicted in the court of public opinions. This is a deeply concerning assault on our adversarial legal system and the rights to legal representations. No matter the severity of the allegations or the repugnancy of the case, an accused person remains innocent until the courts rule otherwise. Any lawyer who knows his onions on his suya knows that there's no good or bad case, until the final determination of the case. Thus, the first great duty of an advocate or lawyer is to reckon or do everything legally possible in the interests of his client. In the discharge of his professional duties, a lawyer knows but one person in the whole of the world, and that person is his client, even if it requires encouraging protests or protesters who are in sympathy with his client's interests or speaking to the press to clarify the allegations against his client. This is similar in reality and desperation in capital offense cases, when government determinedly provide the judge, prosecutor, and free turncoat indolent defense counsels for accused persons, the government is determined to waste. A trinity of conspiracy and collusion against indigent and poor citizens. Tobeo Onanuga and other moral, ethics schizophrenics, a lawyer's representation of a client including representation by appointment, does not constitute an endorsement of his client's political, economic, social, or moral views. Arresting lawyers or making moral judgments about lawyers because of the identity of their clients will inevitably impede access to justice and the availability of lawyers for political dissents in the coming days, Barrister Jefferson Ueharen stated. The remanded Nnamdi Kanu lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, in a tweet on Tuesday, said, "I am safe and sound but still under custody at Kuje prison." The magistrate refused to listen to our submissions. He insisted on remanding us till Friday and got his way. For context, keep in mind that they bypassed several magistrate courts in town and headed to this one in Kuje. On Monday, Aloy Ejimakor had tweeted that, "We've just been arrested. Myself, Prince Emmanuel and others. We are at FCT Command Sid. Myself, Fine Boy and others. Number 1 Zaria Street, Gariki 2, Abuja." Earlier on Monday, Ejimakor also tweeted that, "I'm in front of Transcorp Hilton with a mammoth crowd that gathered for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu October 20th and the police just exploded tear gas. My eyes and throat hurt. They're scattering everywhere." Omiyele Sawore on Tuesday stated that, "I just learned that illegal IGP Kayode Egbetoken has sent Nnamdi Kanu's brother and lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, and 11 others all the way to Kuje Magistrate Court to get them remanded in prison at all costs." Earlier on Monday, Omiyele Sawore said, "The despicable and illegal Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoken, has ordered the arrest and detention of 13 peaceful protesters who participated in today's Free Nnamdi Kanu demonstration in Abuja. Among those detained are Nnamdi Kanu's lead lawyer, Aloy Ejimakor, Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Fineboy Kanu, Barrister Akere, and 10 others whose only crime was exercising their constitutional right to peaceful protest." Shockingly, the protesters have been taken to the notorious SARS abattoir detention and torture facility in Abuja, a place long associated with human rights abuses, unlawful detentions, and unspeakable cruelty. Their only offense was standing for justice and freedom and protesting peacefully. In another post on Monday, Omiyele Sawore said, "We relocated to the FCT Police Command today to ensure the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Fineboy, his lawyer, Barrister Aloy Ejimakor, and 11 others who were arrested and tortured for participating in Free Nnamdi Kanu peaceful protest. While we were there, we commenced another phase of our protest, and the police responded by attacking us right in front of the command. We were informed that the illegal Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetoken requested that they be interviewed and possibly detained. This will not stand." On Tuesday evening, Omiyele Sawore stated in a statement that, "Lawyers representing Barrister Aloy Ejimakor and his brother, Emmanuel Fineboy Kanu, filed a bail application today at the Federal High Court in Abuja following their unlawful arrest during the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. However, in a blatant display of bad faith, police prosecutors reportedly refused to accept service of the court summons delivered by court bailiffs, an intentional move to frustrate and delay the bail process. Today, we also found out they were so desperate that they thought, Aloy, for Aloy. Today, we proceeded to the Kuje Magistrate Court, where the Nigeria police force under the leadership of illegal IGP Kayode Egbetoken, hastily arraigned Nnamdi Kanu's lead counsel, Aloy Ejimakor, his brother, Fineboy, and 11 others. However, the magistrate had already remanded them in Kuje prison until Friday, before their attorneys arrived at the magistrate's court.
Osazuwa Connedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.